Who you calling bums, pal?
You.
Randy!
Listen, we got two more of us in the back seat.
Pity the back seat.
If you're
Stop
looking
it.
for a fight,
I am looking for a fight.
come on, put the
Let's
knife
go.
down.
Come on, right now.
Come
right
on.
now.
And we're up. Episode 16 of Mission Statements, a Delta Bravo Urban Exploration Team podcast with my man. And you know what? I don't know why you haven't been on earlier. I really honestly don't even know why. I'm like, how come, like, Tom, like, why don't you come on? You're like, really? I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, why the fuck not? You know what I mean? My man, Tom LeFevre, which I'm very happy we were talking before that you let me know, because I was gonna butcher your last name. Dude.
Everybody does, dude. Everybody.
I'm sure. I was just saying, you and Rayan with the last names. But I get it too, though. No one could like believe that my last name is actually Ferrari, like the car. I get all kinds of stuff: Ferrara, Fiero. I mean,
I thought yours was kind of easy.
Yeah, it's just Ferrari. That's what it is. And great last name. All right. I know. What's going on, my man?
Not much, brother. Not much.
Well,
Chilling.
me too. So I'm gonna get the sponsors out of the way.
Right
So we can get them out of the way, and then we can go into what I think is probably going to be a little bit of a different feel of mission statements because of what you do for a living and the podcast I used to do. And there's a lot of intertwined things that we could definitely talk about.
Yeah,
of
sure.
course, we will talk about hitting spots and stuff like that, without a doubt. So, Dead Sled Coffee, if you're a coffee guy or a tea person, follow them on Instagram at Dead Sled Coffee. If you go to deadsledcoffee.com and you type in the promo code Delta Bravo, you'll get 20% off of your order. They officially license a lot of different things. They're a small company, but they do kind of do big things. It sounds cliche and that sounds like it's rehearsed, but it's really not. They do a lot of stuff with horror movies and horror iconic people like Kane. They have a Kane Hodder blend, a Robert Englund blend. They do a lot of music stuff. Rob Zombie. We were just speaking before. They have a Wisdom in Chains blend.
I got that blend.
Oh, so do I, of course. Yeah, I know that Luke, shout out to Luke Broda, the drummer for the band. When he came up, he actually came up with that flavor, and he was telling, I believe it was Mike, one of the owners of Dead Sled. He's like, I want my coffee to taste like I dipped the Anisette S cookie into it. And I can picture him saying that. Yeah, love Luke. So support Dead Sled Coffee. They're a bunch of great guys. And even before this podcast and the podcast before, they sponsored both of them. Even before that other podcast, I was drinking their stuff. So it's not like, I'm just, putting out some shit just because they're a sponsor. It's just not like that. So yeah, Dead Sled Coffee. Also, Kevin Bednar is another Delta Bravo brother. He owns 3 pubs in Virginia. It's Percival Eats, the Percival Pub, and the Ashburn Pub. Follow them all on Instagram. Just search them. And he's a super talented artist. He just did his Inktober thing, 31 drawings in 31 days.
Guy's amazing.
Dude, Kevin is a great guy. I became more and more friendly with him over the years. We speak often, like not even online, like we speak like via like private, texts and stuff like that. And he's a super good dude. He turned me on to a guy, Tom Mitchell, who runs Still Brave, the Childhood Cancer Foundation. And that's where the profits for his Inktober goes. And that's just a whole other thing. I had Tom on the podcast. So not really a Delta Bravo thing, really, but they kind of was because I met him through Kevin. And there was a lot of little things that,
Kevin's super inspiring, man.
Dude, yeah. Kevin is a great dude. Tom is a great guy. And thanks to Kevin, that's how I met Tom. But yeah, man. And last but definitely not least, and I left it at last on purpose. There's a record store that might sponsor the podcast. It's located in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. You might know that guy. Who's that guy?
Yeah, that's my shop. Main Street Jukebox.
Yes, sir.
You can find us on Instagram, MAINST Jukebox, Facebook, spelled out. We're there.
We're there. MainStreetJukebox.com.
Yeah, my website. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And somebody, for some stupid reason, like your fan page or whatever like that, got like taken down off of Facebook or some shit. Doesn't that suck, dude?
Yeah, it just disappeared. And there's nobody you can talk to get it back. No, nothing. I just lost everything overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Over 10,000 followers, years
of
work. Yeah.
Dude, I had my last podcast, the Brooklyn Blast Furnace. I had a decent amount of, I think I had more people on the Facebook, but I had a decent amount of followers on Instagram. I didn't buy anything. It was just all organic. It was close to maybe 8,000 people, something like that. And awesome. I literally sat there and watched it get hacked.
And what do you do? Nothing.
Nothing. I was sitting there what the fuck is happening? It was bananas, dude. It was the weirdest thing ever. And that was it. And it was still up, but I had no access to it. Two-factor authentication, password, email, all. And I was getting emails as it's changing. Emails are popping up on my phone. Your password has been changed. Your email has been changed. All on my Instagram page.
Nightmare.
I was like, what do I do?
Because there's nobody you can talk to.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, then you can't get any help on it at all.
No. And it's like me. I'm not a verified account. And it's like there's a whole thing where if you show your face, then you might be able to. But there was nobody. My face was nowhere on it. It was all about all of my guests and flyers. I might have been on it in when you swipe the 10 pictures. I might have been with Richie Crutch from Wisdom and Change, the 7th picture in on a post from 3 years ago.
Sure.
I'm not
verified. You still never got control of it? It's still
up, and I have no idea. I got an email saying that it went back to my email address, but I don't know the password, and I think whoever hacked it put on two-factor authentication. So I still have nothing.
Right. It's
still up, but I haven't had control over that shit in.
Yeah, it's frustrating, man. Especially when you use it for a tool that you do, and then all of a sudden it's just gone.
That's all I used it for.
And for me, I use it a lot for the shop. Obviously, that's what I do.
Business, dude.
Yeah, man. It's as soon as my Facebook went down, I was like, oh god, my Instagram goes down. Then I'm screwed. But
screwed.
I just started the Facebook over and just roll with it, dude. What can I do?
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
No.
Yeah. It's crazy that there's a certain part of us when we do something like this, nothing on, and I have 2 Instagram pages now. All I have is I run the Delta Bravo one, the main one, and the mission statements. I don't have a personal Instagram.
Right.
And 99% of all my posts on Facebook are Delta Bravo related.
Right.
That's it. Maybe, happy birthday to my daughter. That's it. I don't clock in, I'm over here eating pizza. I just don't.
And honestly,
there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't.
There's very few things I care about on there. There's music and Delta Bravo stuff, and that's pretty much it. I don't really care about
same here. I put podcast shit, and which is also Delta Bravo related. That's it.
Right.
I don't care otherwise.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
It's a very weird thing. But you kind of need it. I always said it's a necessary evil because nowadays, standing outside of a venue handing out flyers are dead. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You need this shit in order to do it, so you have to do it even though sometimes it sucks. Anyway, we could talk about that shit all day long. 100%. So I was going back, and one of the bucket list spots, you know what I'm going to do? Hold on. Wait. I'm going to switch this for a second real quick. Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey, why not? Hold on. Am I dark? I look like
you got really dark.
I don't know why. That's weird. All right, don't worry. You know what we'll do? We'll edit that and fucking post. Yeah, 100%. I don't like that though. Anyway, one of the bucket list spots I know what I could do. Here we go. Guerrilla podcasting, ladies and gentlemen.
There
Ready
you
for
go.
this? Fucking magic. How you doing?
There you go.
Better?
Yep.
A little light on the sun. It's just my cell phone flashlight. Works. So one of the bucket list spots, and it's one of my favorites, is you holding the Goonies doubloon.
Oh yeah. The
Dude.
Goonies spot.
Dude, you know, I'm gonna say I'm already say I'm a half a psycho when it comes to this stuff, and I've said it several times on this podcast. It's almost like a little bit of a sickness at this point.
Dude, I'm right there with you,
dude. It's like I get a break at work. I'm looking up stuff. I found like 6 spots today, like at work, just walking around doing stuff. I found a certain thing, and then I went to here, to here, to here. I'm like, no shit. Like, how did I not know that? And it's all like right by my job and stuff like that. Because I work
which is awesome. You work in Manhattan?
I work 4 blocks from Times Square.
So I mean, you're in the candy store, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's I'm spoiled, bro.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm spoiled. So, but like I already have like a road trip already planned for the most part. There's a few working little things I need to do. I have to discuss it with my daughter because she's gonna come. So
next summer.
What's that?
Next summer you're gonna do it?
Yeah. 100%. Last time I did 8 full days. I think this time I'm going 2 weeks, bro.
Awesome.
I'm going.
That's awesome.
I'm going.
Gotta do it, man. And your trip looked amazing. You know, all the stuff that you hit, incredible.
It was so it was so busy, but it was planned so well that there was not one snag.
And I love how you planned it just for getting hits, right? I mean, you planned that trip.
Well, yeah.
Go get hits.
Yeah, of places that I never thought that I would ever see, that I always wanted to go to and see.
Yeah.
And there was like spot after spot after spot. I'm just standing there like, how the hell am I here right now? And that was the whole goal. So, but it's going to happen again this next summer. But I think the summer after that, I'm already planning like years in advance.
I love it.
I want to do a different part of the country every time. You know what I mean? Like I went to basically to Texas, up to Oklahoma, and then came back to Brooklyn. This time I'm going to California. I'm going down to Arizona, New Mexico. I'm going to pop up to Tulsa. I'm going to see how my daughter is feeling, or whatever, because my daughter wants to do like 5 days in Cali. And I get it, because there's a lot that I want to see and do in Cali.
For sure.
I think the year after that, I want to do something a little bit more up north, because you know, everyone knows already at this point, like I dig, like it sounds weird, but I dig like, well, that's serial killer, weird, crazy shit. So I want to incorporate, but I'm all over the map. Like I want to incorporate like the Goonies with like Jeffrey Dahmer's house. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I think
it'd be great if you could get one hit at least in every state, right?
I would love it.
Right, try and get
all 50 states, dude.
Right.
Sick.
That would be pretty amazing.
That would be sick. See, but now that's like a goal, like now at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it'll take, but it's something that I need to like. And
you're driving cross country, you know. I mean, you could hit a lot of stuff.
You can hit a lot. But now, do we include Hawaii and Alaska? I think you would have to.
Yeah, you'd have to at some point. Those are the tough ones.
Yeah.
Right.
And what's messed up, if I would have known, or if Delta Bravo was a thing way back in the day when I was in the Air Force, because I was stationed in Alaska.
Oh, yeah, right.
I could have hit it already. You know?
Yeah. Hey, at least you were there, so you know where to go.
I was there. I was. Crazy.
But yeah, the Goonies, that's a great spot to hit. That whole area there is amazing. You know.
Yeah, man.
And it's a funny story. I don't get to travel as much as I would like to with the shop and stuff.
I get it.
Whenever I do, I make sure to hit some spots, you know, I make sure wherever I'm going. Yeah. It's usually if I go, I'm going to see a concert, I'm going to see shows. So I'll travel across country to go see a band play, whatever, have fun. And I always try and find spots when I'm out there.
Yeah.
So I was going out to Red Rocks. I believe we were going out to see a show. And
Slightly Stoopid.
Yeah. They're
I just recently looked through those pictures.
Yeah, and they're a lot of fun, and I'll go anywhere to see those guys. They're just a great band. Good
I've
guys.
met all of them.
Yeah.
We have a mutual friend with Jeff Pliskin.
Oh right. All right. Yeah, sure.
Back in like shit, 2009, 2010, I did the CD layout for C Money's Family Business Record.
Oh, no way.
I did that.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
It's a small world, dude. That's crazy.
It's crazy. So Jeff gets me and we go, have a VIP pass, whatever. We go to they're playing Terminal 5 in Manhattan. This is like 2009, 2000. I would really have to look. I could probably find the exact date. And I'm hanging out back there with them and, C Money and Kyle and all of them. And I'm on the stage for the whole show. And there's a song. Is it Babylon is Burning? Well, what's the song? There's a song where they have like a real punk rock.
They got a few of those.
Portion to it.
All right.
Is it Babylon is Burning?
Babylon, yeah.
Okay. So they do that. And I know that spot, that part's about to come up. And I love all the hardcore shit and all that stuff. So I'm on the stage. And if you're at Terminal 5, there's like a 6 to 8 foot barricade between the stage and the crowd.
Right.
So now, if anyone doesn't know Slightly Stoopid is, it's very, very, very reggae-ish and very, chill, smoke, relax, and, all that kind of stuff, funky. But then they kick into that shit, and I knew they were gonna, so I made sure I took like a flying, and now Terminal 5 is like 5,000 people in it, it's sold out. Oh, so yeah. I run and I flip, I jump over the bounce and flip into the crowd. And then Jeff was like, dude, the whole place went bad shit that someone actually did that. And I was like, that's just, I do that shit all the time. But it was a really cool moment. And those guys are super, super. I can't sit here and say that I know them like that, but that whole night they treated me like I was family. And they were super cool.
Dude, they're some of the best people in the business, no doubt, 100%. So amazing, in every way.
Yeah.
And Jeff, he's one of the first guys I met, going to stupid shows, and I always saw his raised fist stuff, and he's always doing like the cool, the cool
his fisheye lens photos.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he just, he's always there. So I just made it a point to introduce myself, and kind of then we got to know each other. That's how it goes, and it's just awesome,
Yeah, man.
I go cross country to see those guys just because it's a good time, and I made a lot of friends through going to shows, to see them.
Sure.
And we went to
Red Rocks. I'm sorry, I threw you right off course with my bullshit.
So then on the way we stopped in Portland, and I have another friend there. The band Modest Mouse? You know that band?
Not personally, but of course I know who they are.
So the bass player of that band is a good friend too. He grew up in our area, and so he lives out in Portland now. And I was telling him about what I like to do, go and look for spots to, where movies were filmed, album covers, this, that, the other. And he's like, I said, I want to go to see the Goonies, the Haystack Rock and all that, and he's like, I'll drive you, I'll take you, and he was like our tour guide the whole time. Nice. He took us all the spots, and he was just like, yeah, we can find this, we can find that. I know where that is. And yeah, it's just a matter of going and, lining up some shots, and it was awesome.
Yeah, you gotta do it. It's like, it's funny. It's like we were in, where were we? I think we were in like Waco. We were like on the Branks Davidian compound, I think.
That's just amazing.
I talk about that all the time. It's still it's something that like will always be like right here, like vividly. I'll never forget that. Yeah, that was just insane. But it's like, I think like my girl was like, how are we here? Like, how did we like? She's like, Jim. She's like, seriously, like, how did we wind up here? And then me being the logical, literal guy, I guess at times. I'm like, well, I planned this. You know what I mean? It's like we lined this up. Like I made sure that and then here we are. Like you have to make things happen Things just don't happen. Or some things just happen, but not something like this. You need to plan this kind of shit. And it happened about 25 different times on that trip. Like, how the fuck am I here right now?
It's pretty amazing,
like,
man.
Whoa.
That you even had the balls to go to the Waco, David Koresh compound.
How am I having a conversation with David Koresh's replacement pastor right now?
Yeah,
with a cup of coffee at 7 o'clock on a Monday morning. Like, what's happening, dude? So weird.
Did he try and recruit you? Did he
No, but he was super, super chatty. He was chatty. He was busting, telling us things, and
now were there still a lot of people in the like he had a whole new
No, there's not a lot. I saw like 5 people. I saw they were quote unquote closed that day. And they were closed Sundays and Mondays. And just our timing with our route that we were taking, we got there on a Monday. I didn't want to like turn away. I'm here. I'm in Waco. There's nothing around me. I'm at the gates of the Branch Davidian compound. I'm here. There's no way I'm just gonna walk away without trying to get on it. But then again, I'm not trespassing because it says on there like don't fuck around, And plus, I'm in Texas, in the middle of nowhere, dude.
Right,
we could have disappeared. Me, her, the vehicle disappeared. Gone.
Yeah, right.
Easily. Like seeing where it was in the surrounding areas, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
But I'm standing on the wall. I'm standing with like a 6-foot brick wall, and I climb up on the top of it, and I'm standing on the edge of the wall, and I see the little makeshift church that they built on the original slab of the original compound, and it's really small because it's way in the distance. And I start yelling. I'm like, "Hello!" I tell her, I'm like, my big Brooklyn mouth is either gonna help us, or we might have a problem.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not walking away from here not trying. Next thing you know, a guy came and we went up there and we were on there for like an hour and a half. Just you're like, yeah, man, just walk around, take pictures. I was like, yeah.
And Kevin, he was there too, right?
I thank you, Kevin Bednaz, because he is the one that gave me Pastor Charles Pace is the replacement pastor. So I was able to drop the guy's name because Kevin told me.
Nice.
Yeah. See how it all works out?
Man,
get a little crazy. In. I got a Waco guy.
Yeah, you're right.
Ridiculous.
He's hit some cool spots too, man. Like he's got some stuff that I want to get like on my bucket list. Some of those Dazed Confused spots. I'm just like, oh fuck, he hit all those, and he did a great job with those. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
There's some of you guys, man, have done some incredible stuff. Like, I don't know who did it, but it's way back. If you search in the group, where you could on your phone, if you could just press and you could just search the actual group. If you just type in "cool" KOOL, and there's the Cool Cigarettes ad with the waterfall, and someone found the exact.
I remember that. I remember.
Dude, that's one of my favorite ones ever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is so awesome.
Yeah,
how do you find that? Like,
seriously.
Seriously, like a lot of that stuff. I mean, there's so many, man. Like everybody has their own way of doing it, and which is great because nothing is the same, and it's everyone's own take on it, and I think that's amazing.
Like there's guys like Danny Johnson, like that guy kills it every time. Rain, he's all over the place. Yeah. I don't know if those guys they must. I guess they travel for work. I don't know for sure, but that's the only way I could figure they're everywhere.
Dude, like that guy. He's relatively new. That guy, Steve Dahlman.
I see he's everywhere too.
That guy is everywhere. And what I love, and when I did the episode with Danny Johnson, he was like, I love that dude. What he does. Because he does on purpose a lot of bad movies on purpose.
Don't say that, yeah.
But that's awesome. I love that he does that.
Yeah.
He's not taking itself so seriously. It's like terrible movies, but I think it's fucking hilarious. It's great.
But there's so many inspiring people. I mean, that's kind of what really drew me to Delta Bravo in the first place. Like, probably like I guess maybe like 2015 is when it kind of really came into my attention. Like I'm not sure if it was up a lot before that, but Danny Boy, hitting like, I guess, the fast time stuff, which is just, that's right up my alley, man. I always wanted to go and hit all that shit, like one day I will, I'm gonna get there. But like, and the Bad News Bear stuff, and he was just hit all this shit where I'm just like, man, this fucking guy, like, that's right where I'm at. Like, that's the same stuff I'm into,
Me too. We're all like around the same age, like us. Like I'm 40. What am I? I'm 46.
I'm 52. So yeah, we're
it's the same shit,
right? And Danny's right there too. It's like we all grew up with all that classic shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, as soon as you see somebody there, you're like, damn, man, you're like, I want to get there, I want to be there too, and it just started inspiring me to hit things like I always wanted to hit. Like, and I'd go into the city because it's only about an hour from where I'm at. I'm a little over an hour away from New York City. So I'm like, I want to go in and hit all the Warriors spots,
That's 2 miles from where I'm sitting right now.
Right. You said you're right by Coney, and I'm
right here.
That's why, we made I think it was like they had like a Warriors reunion there on Coney one year.
Was it where Sick of It All played?
Yeah, Sick of It All was played.
I was there.
So I mean, a buddy of mine, we made a day of it, just went into Manhattan, hit all kinds of spots for Warriors, hit a couple other things for like, Serpico and Taxi Driver and, all the shit that you can
You have to. Like those right there. It's like those have been done, but who cares? Like,
yeah, I didn't, it's like I didn't do them. I want to get there. I want to see them,
Absolutely.
And, so the Warrior, then we rode the train into Coney and did the whole subway ride to Coney Island, then hit all this shit in Coney. And then, they were doing a whole big, you were there. They had a big convention there. And yeah, it was awesome. It
was a fun time.
Yeah.
It was a fun time going crazy to sick of it all. They're all wearing Warriors vests and shit. We're going nuts. There's like the Wonder Wheelers behind us. Everyone's going crazy.
Awesome.
It was so much fun, dude.
Yeah. That was.
I have a bunch of pictures from that too somewhere as well.
Really incredible. I don't know if they've done another one. I think they might have did one or two. I don't know if it was as big as that first one.
Yeah, definitely not as big because I think that was a certain year anniversary of it too.
Yeah. But yes, and stuff like that always just inspired me to like go in and like just spend the day and get as many as I can. And I'm not real familiar with getting around the city as much as some people. It's like the back of your hand, so everywhere to go. Yeah. So I usually go with a buddy of mine who's like he knows in and out to the city, so we can get places quick. Because otherwise, I'm all turned around. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck they're going.
I even get turned around a little bit. So I'm like, all right, hold on. Where am I? Because sometimes like down in like the Village area, and there's certain spots downtown where it gets a little bit wonky when there's like the little name streets and down by, all that really far downtown stuff where there's the little small little paths like Minetta, and there's this and there's that and there's Waverly and it goes into Gay Street and there's all that. There's a lot of weird little things that I even have to be like, all right, hold on. You know what I mean? Right, but once you get into like, because everything is like a grid, and if anyone doesn't know, Manhattan is split long ways by Fifth Avenue. So anything on one side is the east side, the other one's on the west side. If you're walking down Fifth Avenue, you look on your left, depending on which way you're looking, or left or your right, it'll say, let's say, West 57th Street, and you'll look right over here, and it'll say East 57th Street. Like it's literally divided by Fifth Avenue. So once you get up there, then it's more like a grid and it makes sense because it's numbered and you got it. So it's simple. With the weird outlying little small spots, especially downtown, it gets a little weird.
Then another time I went in just for music stuff, we got, I had to hit, like the Kiss Dress to Kill and the,
of course,
the Ramones stuff, obviously. And, the CBGB
down by CB's and all that stuff.
And the Neil Young spot, like just like all that. I had to get all that shit, and it spirals, you like you said, you just go in these rabbit holes where like I start writing stuff down, like I gotta get here, I gotta go there, lists and lists of stuff.
I have so many, bro. You should see my computer. It's super organized, but it's super organized because I don't like to look for my own shit. Like I wish I
had stuff organized. I have like everything I do, even my mashes, everything I do is on my phone.
I have shit backed up everywhere.
Well, I mean, I have it in the cloud, like backed up. But I mean, like, I don't use Photoshop to do mashes. I just do it all through apps,
Right.
There's certain apps I use to to do it. And I have like 35,000 pictures in my fucking phone.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Crazy.
I have to go and find something. I'm like, really?
Yeah. It's like what's awesome is like I just got this computer. This computer that I'm on is super old. It's like 12 years old, but it works. It works great. And
what do you use? What do you use to do your mashes and stuff? Do you use Photoshop? Is that what you
I
do?
use a super old version of Photoshop Elements from like 2009, dude.
Yeah. All right.
Even like all my blast photos, everything is in the same program, an old version of Photoshop.
Wow.
Super old.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
I just know how to use it. I make it work. It looks good, and that's it. But I just recently got this. What happened?
In the beginning of the Delta, I was like, how are these guys doing this? I'm not a real good at Photoshop. I have it on my computer and stuff, but I'm like, is there a way I can just do this on my phone? And somebody turned me on to, I don't know if you've ever got the app. It's called Superimpose Plus. Awesome application. You can do all kinds of mashes with it, and it works great. Everything on your phone,
Nice. So maybe I'll have to download that. It'll be like a mash on the run when I.
Yeah, that's always when I'm doing it. I'm out taking pictures from across the country, whatever. Like when I get home at the hotel, I want to start fucking with them, So I'm like, I want to start making those mashups from the hotel room,
Yeah. Well, what I was doing on this last road trip, I took like I don't know, probably about 2,000 pictures. Not everything was for mashing, but a lot of them were, and I'll take like maybe like 15 of like one spot so I make sure I get a right angle. I'll take extra pictures because I don't want to be in some weird place in Texas, and not take enough pictures and then I come back. I'm like, how did I not get that shot? Right, I don't care if it happened somewhere in Coney Island because it did. So it's like, it's right here. You know what I mean?
Just go right back. Yeah.
I'm not going to Wimberley, Texas anytime soon again,
Right.
So, but I wound up with, every time I would hit a spot, I would say, because I have like the unlimited or what I pay for Dropbox.
Okay.
So I just send everything to Dropbox as soon as I hit it, because I'm thinking if I lose my phone,
right,
you're gone. At least everything is there. And then once I got home, I downloaded. It was like I don't know how many gigs of pictures and pictures and pictures. And I wound up with 175 mashes over 8 days. And I mashed them all in like a week, but I had to wait until I got home, and I just sat here and I just went fucking buck wild.
Yeah, then you just get into it. You're into the zone, and you just spend hours on it. The angles. That's the.
I love it. I love it.
It's everything. You know what I mean? Like I've gotten so many things from the city where I get home and I'm like, fuck, man, I didn't get the fucking right angle.
Oh, it's happened so many times, dude. It pisses me off, but then it's like, all right, no big deal. It gives me another excuse to get the hell out and do it again. I'm sure I'll be in the area.
Right.
I
love even stuff like local stuff, like local true crime stuff. Like I'll go hit that kind of shit. Like, I think one of the first things I ever hit was the movie Transformers. Some of it was filmed here in the Lehigh Valley in Bethlehem at this place called the Steel Stacks. Okay. So I'm like, I'm gonna go down there and try and get that mashed up and just see if I can get it. And that was fun. You just go, I got the angle, I got the shot, boom, done. That was like the first one I think I ever put up.
I did a couple somewhere in Lehigh Valley.
Oh yeah.
I did. It's now a Home Depot / Home Depot parking lot. I don't remember the name of the place, but it was where Jimmy Superfly Snooker killed his wife.
It wasn't an Econo Lodge, but it was something like
it was something along those lines. It was like a resort type,
right? And I know exactly where it is. There's a Home Depot there right now. Yep, I know exactly where it is. Yep.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
he supposedly killed his wife or something, right? Was that?
Oh well, yeah. I'm gonna say he kind of did.
Yeah.
and it's because at that time, like he was Vince McMahon's like golden. This is before Hulkamania and all that. So
Allentown's a huge spot for wrestling. Always has been.
Yeah.
The Samoans are from here. Nice. I went to high school with The Rock. The Rock's from Bethlehem. He went to my high school. And
oh shit.
Those are his uncles, the Samoans. And
I know that. Yeah,
they lived right next door to a buddy of mine. They used to we used to go over there. They had a big trampoline in their yard. They would like, come on, jump on the trampoline, and like show us all kinds of wrestling moves. And,
that's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Here's a quick little aside. I have a recommendation for anybody who's into, especially that old school wrestling. It's called Tales from the Territories. Did you ever hear of it?
What is it? A book or a?
No, it's like a limited series on. Listen, I watch everything. A lot of things on BFlix, BFLIX. It's like this whatever website, but it's produced by The Rock, and it's all back before Vince McMahon took over everything, when there was the territories. And I think there's 3 episodes out right now, dude. And I used to love that stuff when I was a kid. And when I was a little kid, it was still territories and stuff like that. I used to get the magazines, and I never would be able to watch. There was certain people I would only know from magazines because there wasn't cable at the time, and I'm just watching Vince McMahon's WWF. But then there's all these other things, and so there's a lot of stories that I didn't even know about that are on this. Like, it's like a miniseries documentary. It is absolutely insane, batshit crazy stories about like Butcher Vachon on a plane shitting in a bag, and there's drugs and people lighting dynamite, and who's opening a plane door on the plane as they're flying, and drugs and bikers and brawls. And bro, I'm like watching this, I'm like, how did this happen? How did it happen?
Yeah,
it's so crazy, and it's all true. You can verify it all. But it's called Tales from the Territories, dude.
All right, I'm gonna look that up. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up because like
the same people. Yeah, it's The Rock and the same people who produced Dark Side of the Ring.
I've seen some of those, and those are good too.
Some of them are awesome. Yeah, but yeah, man, super super cool. But yeah, Lehigh Valley is where I Delta Bravo'd, where Jimmy Snuka. Yeah, because
that's funny. Yeah,
he gets. It was like, I might butcher the story a little bit, but Vince McMahon walks into like a police precinct or whatever. Jimmy Snuka's there. Vince McMahon walks into a precinct with a suitcase. He walks out without the suitcase, and Jimmy Snuka's a free man.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I think I've
heard back in like 1981.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no cameras. It's a little hush hush.
That was big news around here. That was a big deal. For sure. Yeah, this is like a definitely a wrestling like hot spot, or it was, back in the day.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I might have hit a couple others in Pennsylvania. I don't really remember.
I was going to say, is that the only one you hit here in Lehigh Valley? Just came up for Snuka?
I don't. We were in that area for a reason. I think we were. I don't remember exactly why. I'm
just
shocked.
Just looked up what happened here, and there it is, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was one of those situations. Like, all right, well, if we're going over here, there's got to be something. Maybe I think. You know what? Maybe we were going. Maybe we were en route or going down to or coming from like Cherry Hill. No, maybe I don't know. I don't know why we were there, but we were there. It felt like we were there several times. But see, now I have to go back into the arc. See, I don't prepare for this shit, dude. I could have just went back. What spots in Pennsylvania?
Yeah,
spots in Philly, but I think that might have been the only one. But I'll have to get back to you. But
Joe in Philly, he's another one. He crushes everything he does. That guy's super inspirational, man. Every time I see his stuff, I got to get down there and get. Being a Pennsylvania boy, I never got the Rocky spots, and I never went down and got that shit,
Dude, that was bucket list for me, man.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, he knows where everything is, Joe. He's got it all, everything he hit was amazing,
What I didn't get yet, though, I didn't get Rocky's actual house.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't get it. I got Paulie's house. I got in like in Creed where they're in the what was the name of the restaurant? In Adrian's, when Rocky opened up Adrian's after Adrian dies, it's really called the Victor Cafe. To eat. I had to eat there just to say that I ate at Adrian's and get shots from the inside. I had to do it. There's of course there's the Rocky steps. There's the pet shop. There's the
Sure.
gym literally right across the street from the pet store.
And like
And
that
there's
stuff's all still there, which is just like,
yeah,
you know, I have to get this stuff before it's gone. Like Danny Boy,
pet store's gone.
What's
Pet
gone?
store's gone.
Gone. Yeah, I remember he got some bricks or something from there, right, Joe?
I have one.
He gave you one? Yeah, yeah, nice.
It's one of my favorite things I've ever received ever by anybody on the planet.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Bro, it's so awesome.
But yeah, so many places are just they just disappear, dude, and it's so sad. It's like, you know, Danny Boy always said, it's like you got to go and get them while you can because stuff is gone. It's gone, man. You know,
that's
it's
it.
like, you know, I guess he, you know, I don't know if it was him or people were saying, you know, out in LA, so much has changed, so much is gone. You know, they just bulldoze it and it's gone. You know,
It's the same thing that happens here.
Yeah, New York. Yeah.
You know, good luck with a picture from 1978 that's in Times Square trying to find it.
Yeah.
Good luck.
No way. Yeah.
Huh.
It's Disneyland down there. You know,
it looks like it's high noon at midnight in the middle of Times Square because of all the big neon. It's crazy. I avoid it like the plague.
No, I don't blame you.
I avoid it. I have to walk through there to get my hair cut, but you know, it's like right there. But there's spots all over the place right by my house. You know, I get my hair cut in Hell's Kitchen. There's so much.
So much. Yeah, right. Yeah.
You got it. That's another rabbit hole I just fell into. Thanks to Kevin Bednarz. He texted me something yesterday, an article about something. I'm like, here we go. And now I'm all in. It's so bad. I love the passion when it comes to this stuff.
The passion about so many of these dudes, you know, is just, it's amazing. Like I said, and you know, you keeping it going for real, man, because there's been some spots where it's kind of been on like, it goes on to do a down time, you know. Then you came in and dude, you just blasted, forget it. You weren't letting that thing go down.
No, you know? I don't. And it's weird though, because it's not like I don't do all these things just to post shit. I do these things because I like to go and see shit. Like, I don't know if you heard, I don't know. I've said it probably, I don't know how many times on this podcast, the other podcast. So I had a few Delta Bravo guys on the Brooklyn Blast Furnace, Danny Boy included. I had Andrew Katz on there. I had Danny Johnson on there. But, you know, I've always been kind of interested in this stuff without really realizing what it was before Delta Bravo. You know, you know, and I use this as an example all the time because it's the first thing that always comes to my head is when I was younger watching like the original Friday the 13th movie. As a little kid, I know it's a movie. This is definitely a real lake somewhere.
Have you gotten there?
A million times.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, dude. Yeah. Hell yeah. So it's like
if you get there, you're really close to where I'm at. Like
Blairstown
area. Yeah, I'm like real close. I'm like only maybe 20 minutes from there. Maybe
that's probably what we were doing.
Yeah.
You know, now that you say that, that's probably what we were doing because there's the Blairstown Museum there. They had Friday the 13th showings right there on Main Street.
Yeah, so, now they have it. They make a big thing about it now, you know. It's
cool. Awesome. And they should because the whole
when I went there and did it, they didn't make a big deal about it yet. There wasn't like, and I was like, man, I was wondering why they wouldn't do that for this town because it was so awesome. And then somebody did it. So
so it's like the first time I ever went there, it's like I'm going down. I knew it was on Main Street, but I wasn't really familiar. This was early in my Delta Bravo days, I guess, probably 2016.
Yeah.
And we're driving down, and I'm like, we park, and I just get out, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, that's where Annie in the original one comes down. And right over there, it's movie magic. She's coming through through the archway. And then the next scene, she's coming around the other side. It looks like she's a different part of town, but they're really the same street.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. And nothing has changed there.
Yeah,
like, it's another spot. Well, I was like, wow, that's freaking awesome. So it's like, I always wondered as a little kid, where that lake was. And I was like, I'm sure it's not called Camp Crystal Lake, but it's a lake somewhere. And it was the early days of like MapQuest. Yeah. And I found it was like the internet was not the internet that we have now. And I found like some crazy weird website and it said that it was in Blairstown, New Jersey. So I typed in like where I was living in Queens or whatever to Blairstown. I was like, wow, it's like an hour and 40 something minutes. I'm like, all right, I didn't even have a driver's license yet. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, well, maybe one day. And then next thing you know, here comes 1992 and House of Pain comes out and Jump Around and that whole Fine Malt Lyrics and Same as Everywhere, that whole thing. It's all I'm listening to. And then you fast forward to like 2017 and I'm backstage with Danny Boy in Philly, not even talking about House of Pain or hip hop, but talking about 2-Bit and Soda Pop Curtis.
That's awesome.
It's like, what's happening? Like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
And it's just cool that I grew up listening to that stuff in my teen years. I grew up watching The Outsiders. My daughter grew up now, watches The Outsiders. I've always had an appreciation for where things were filmed. I always loved movies. Like you were saying, all that classic stuff, we all watched it.
Yep.
But it's Danny Boy.
Yeah.
That this is all happening through.
I feel you, dude, because it's the same for me, man. I grew up with the House of Pain. That's all we listened to, dude. That was it, and like,
of course.
And then I see him on, it was I guess it was early days of Facebook or MySpace or one of them, and I reached out, just befriended him on there,
Yeah.
and it was it, and he was always super cool and super helpful with everything. And the guy's like a marketing genius. So like,
I know he gets me every fucking time. He gets me every time.
That's so inspiring to me, and like, I love how he does things and the way he gets things done. Yeah. And, you want to talk, marketing genius, the collectibles that he's always putting at the pin.
That's what I said. He gets me every time.
Yeah, every time. And, back in the day, he put out a pin like every week, I think, maybe I was one after another. I got boxes full of pins and, coins and, you're the same way.
I am.
And I'm sure there's a bunch of us, to have everything that he put out,
Yeah, I'm all meticulous. My shit's on display. I have like 4 shadow boxes.
That's cool. I wish I did have my stuff on display. I have it in like boxes, in my office and this and that. Certain things I always keep with me, and like,
sure.
There's certain ones like, remember the first thing I ever got was one of those, it was a challenge coin, but it was a smaller one. And there used to be a dude in the original crew, John Z. You know John Z? You know that guy?
I don't, but I've heard of him.
Yeah. He was in there in the early days, and he used to work the door at shows in New York City. I saw him at a show in New York City. I'm like, "Yo, man, what's up?" And we started talking bullshit, and she showed me the coin. I'm like, dude, I gotta have one of those coins,
Yeah.
And he told me about this guy, good Hollywood art or something like that, who made the coins. I reached out and they were like, yeah, man, we'll get you a coin, this, that, that's where it started, man. I was like, I'm hooked.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. It's like I'm all my shadow boxes I'm outgrowing too. So it's like now I have to get.
How do you display those big ones, dude? Like the House of Pain ones. They can't go in the shadow box, can they?
They can. The only one that's not big enough for the current coin shadow box that I have is the big square 30th anniversary one that he did. Yeah. Everything else is in the shadow box.
Nice.
The only coin that's not in, even like the big one with the Fighting Irish.
Yeah.
With the House of Pain logo, that's a big coin. That's in the shadow box. The only one that's not is the big square one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's
the main one that I have.
Things.
What happened?
If there's like a tally of how many things he put out, since it started. I mean,
I don't think that anybody can even legitimately say that. I mean, if you want to include everything, like from pins to patches to different stickers to coins to shirts and all that stuff, no idea.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Fucking thousands.
Crazy. Yeah.
Books, brass knuckles, flasks, hats.
the brass knuckles.
I have it too. I have them too. Switchblades. I have both of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, how am I spending $300 right now on fucking outside of switchblades that are gonna sit there? And say I'm a psycho. I have like little acrylic little stands, and they're on display. And then I have the brass knuckles on the acrylic stand on display. I have the Outsider's House hockey puck from the Rumblers that I got. Someone gave me. here I am on Amazon buying a hockey puck display case, and I put the hockey puck in it. It's got a little plastic top.
Yeah, dude, it's a sickness for sure.
I got bricks. I got fucking
That's great.
pieces of the DX roof.
I got to get out there, man. It's one of my things, and I'm ashamed I haven't been out there already. I
was ashamed too, but listen, like you were saying, you know, there's always highs and lows with the group and people hit. But listen, life happens and we're all adults.
Yeah.
You know, listen, at this point, like I start to get a little aggravated now because winter is coming and it gets darker earlier.
Yeah.
And it's freezing.
Yeah.
So it's like I leave my house in the morning, it's dark when I go to work. I get out of work, it's dark.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, I need a halfway decent weekend. If there's nothing else going on, like I don't have my daughter or plans to do something, to go hit spots.
Yeah.
So right now is sporadic. But this weekend I got plans. This weekend I have to go out and hit a few spots.
How many times have you been out to the house in Tulsa?
Only once.
Just the once on your trip?
Yep. But now what I want to do, depending on the region of the country in future road trips, I would like to go as many times as I can, every road trip, stop off in Tulsa.
Yeah.
It's like a little check-in at headquarters.
Yeah.
And we rented, and like next summer, I'm going to do at least 2 nights. If not 3.
You stay in the Greaser hideout, right?
At the Greaser hideout.
Yeah,
dude, let me tell you something, dude. And I say it all the time. My hat goes off to Danny, especially what he did there. That Greaser hideout is so dope. It's so dope. Cool, bro, you can go there. It sleeps like 10 people if you want.
Wow.
It's the whole house.
Yeah, that's so
the
cool.
washer and a dryer. There's pots and pans, glasses, everything. Couches. 2 separate bedrooms with a pull-out couch, and there's a big picnic table, like a big benches and like a picnic table in the house. There's a kitchen, there's a bathroom, there's everything. You walk in there and you just bring your clothes and you're good. And there's a wall of fame where like C. Thomas Howell and everyone's signed in there as well as the house.
It's so cool to me that he did all that there. It's just incredible, you know. It's incredible that of what it's become, you know.
And the attention to detail of everything in there. Everything is Tulsa. Everything is SC Hittin. Everything is Outsiders. It's just super well done. It's immaculately clean. The house itself is ridiculous. I got the chills in the house a couple of times. It's like I look, and behind glass, which I don't blame him, it's like I'm looking at, and there's Johnny Cade's sneakers and jeans that he wore when he stabbed fucking homeboy at Crushfield Park.
Amazing.
Like, how am I looking at that right now? And then I look, and in a frame, and it's behind glass in a frame, and I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, oh shit. And it says it, and it's Diane Lane's skirt where she throws the soda onto Matt Dillon, and it's there with the fucking soda stain on it.
Oh my God.
I'm like, how am I looking at this right now? This is insane. This is like
that's so cool. I'm so glad it worked and it's successful, and it's only getting better, it seems like, you know.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Super dope. It's super.
I can't even imagine Danny being, you know, out in Beverly Hills or wherever he was for how many years, and then moving to Tulsa. Like, what a culture change and culture shock, you know.
Yeah, and a lot of people say that, and since I was there, I kind of get it. I kind of understand why he feels rooted. You know what I mean? Because it's
like he said, the people and everybody there was so welcoming, and it made, you know.
And when we got there, it's like I called him like, yo, the Eagle has landed, or some stupid shit. I said, like, I'm there. All right, I'll meet you at the hideout in 10. I'm like, all right. So he comes whipping around the corner in his big ass truck, and his license plate says 2-bit.
Yes.
I just laugh. Like, it's how awesome is that? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's great. It's great.
It's like, yo, he didn't even get out. He didn't even get out of the truck. He rolled down the passenger with it. He's like, yo, what's up? Let's get in. Let's go hit spots.
Oh, man.
We're flying all over the place, all over Tulsa, this place, that place, Sperry, the DX, this place. And he's like, oh, I gotta get gas. And he gets gas. And he's like, yo, we're over here. I'm like, yeah, all right, where are we? He's like, this used to be the convenience store where Matt Dillon stuck it up in the movie and runs out towards the end. I'm like, all right, that's crazy. So I get out of his truck. I'm like, Danny. He's like, what's up? I was like, you need to get out of my shop. Drive this way because you're gonna fuck up my match. Move.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, so many good dudes.
Super good.
Yeah, I mean, like Butchie. I mean, he was the first guy I met, of Delta Bravo. Him and that other guy, John, were in Stroudsburg for something, and I was wearing the Delta Bravo hat in my shop. And I saw these guys kind of looking in the window at me, like kind of looking like, who the fuck's it? I was like, I didn't know who these guys are, and they come in, they're like, Delta Bravo, they introduced themselves, and it was just, insane. I was like, so cool.
Definitely cool.
And Butchie, he's salt of the earth, dude. That guy, man, forget it.
Yeah,
like,
I met him in person. I mean, only like a couple of years ago. It was the Ricky Powell memorial right after Ricky Powell died down in Washington Square Park.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And he
said, the first time
you
met him?
That was the first time I met him. I went right from work, and I stopped down. It was freezing out, and there was just a gathering in the park. It was like 2 days after Ricky died, and I went down there, and it was crazy because I had him on the Blast Furnace podcast, which was insane. It was just
he's super. That guy was super cool. He's been in the shop a couple times now, and like even during like the pandemic, during the shutdown and stuff, he ran like a Delta Bravo raffle for some stickers and stuff, and gave me money. Like, dude, like, I was just like blown away, man. Mm-hmm. Like, just blown away at the nice gesture, and how he went out of his way to do that.
Yeah.
Crazy to me,
I don't know who, because Joe Schellinger always like corrects me or whatever, but the first time I ever heard it was from Joe, and I think it's for the most part it's pretty universal with all the Delta Bravo guys, with being generous for no reason but just to be generous amongst each other. Yeah. And Joe just says, give a good day.
Yeah,
and I think that's just it's so simple, but it's just instead of go have a good day. Nah, how about give a good day?
Right. I like that.
I love that, and it's just a positive thing, dude.
And so many of the guys are like that, dude. So many.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm saying. I know.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I know that, I mean, Joe had told it, and I've said it several times, but I had never even met Joe in person yet, but he knew that I was a big Rocky fan. He asked me for my address. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I'll send you some stickers. This is like right before, like when I first started to like collect the stickers and stuff.
Yeah.
But like a week later, I get this box, and I open it up, and it's a fucking brick from the pet store from Rocky.
That's so
I'm like,
cool.
I never even met the guy. I'm like, dude, I don't even know what to say right now. Like, this is fucking incredible, dude. Like, I can't thank you enough. And I know that Butchie did something like that for Joe involving his son with baseball cards, and there's stuff like that happens. And then the first time I ever met Joe in person was at the All-Star Comic-Con, which was in Virginia, which Kevin Bednar's put on. And Danny Boy was there. So I'm like, all right, it's a good reason to go to Virginia, get away for the weekend, go fucking hang out and say what's up to Danny, and go do whatever. It's me, my daughter, and my girl, and I walk into the bar area, and there's Joe and Danny sitting by the bar. And as soon as I saw Joe, he handed me a Delta Bravo Brooklyn t-shirt. It wasn't my size, but it was the one that has a typo on it.
Yeah.
Instead of saying BKLYN, it's like BLKYN or something.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like I would never wear it. I wouldn't fit into it, but that's just something that's no one else has, and he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So many of those guys they're so gracious and nice, and it's like, like Fred, dude, that motherfucker, he is so cool. Like every time I hit him up so many times about things to help, he's just like, yeah, sure, no problem, I'll help you.
Yeah, logos and shit.
No,
Fred's
dude,
the logo guy.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, Vector_sector. Was it Vector sector _IG? Yeah. Yeah,
and he's one of the coolest dudes. And we never met in person.
I never met him either in person, but I feel like I know the guy.
Yeah, anytime I reach out to that dude, he's always so quick to help me. Yeah. And he doesn't have to do that, but he
No.
does, and he's just like, it's so amazing,
Yeah.
It's just, and that's how all those dudes are that I've met through Delta Bravo.
Yeah.
There's no, what I love about it, no drama really. There's nothing,
I
It's all
say it
about,
constantly.
it's all about the everybody's got the same mindset and everybody's got the same interests.
Right.
We're all about the pop culture. We're all about
Right.
the finding the treasure,
Mhm.
finding the hidden spots.
100%. And I don't know any of them personally, but I've heard stories here and there. But like, and if you're not really about that stuff and you come with any kind of drama, it gets handled really fast.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, for sure.
You're just gone, and it's never spoken about. It's almost like poof, you're gone, and
It's funny.
no one even talks about it. There's no
Yeah.
like, blah, blah, there's none of that.
Yeah,
Which I
yeah.
love, because
Yeah.
everyone knows how social media can be a real shit show real
sure.
quick, and it gets handled, and it always stays awesome.
Yeah.
It's one of the main reasons that the podcast. I said it with the Blast Furnace podcast. The only reason why I was on social media was because of the podcast. I don't care if people's. What else? What am I promoting? If I'm not doing the podcast, I have a regular job that I don't promote. And what am I going to promote? Yeah, I'm over here. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. Nobody cares that I'm over here eating a burger. No one does. Sorry.
No, you're right. You're right, man.
No one does. Oh, great. You're eating a burger. Scroll. No one cares. So,
it's fun to go on there and see everybody hit like all the different spots, stuff you do. Like, wow, man, like I never even would have thought about hitting that spot. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, me neither. Dude, Andrew Katz is in fucking Europe hitting spots.
Oh, he's a monster. That guy,
monster.
Everything he does. He was involved with that whole Run DMC thing, which just blew me away.
Yeah.
That stuff's just incredible.
He's like in a church courtyard that was built in like the 1500s, hitting spots of like Depeche Mode from like 1981. In some weird neighborhood in like the suburbs of some weird spot in England. Like, what?
I heard him talking about that on your show.
Yeah. It's like stuff like that I find fascinating, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's great. So, I mean, speaking of Europe, I mean, you don't see too many guys hitting like European spots and shit. And like, I mean, before Delta Bravo and all that stuff, like you said, I was always into like, I want to find shit. So like 96, I was going to Europe, just a backpacking trip, a couple weeks, just going. I'm like, one of my sole reasons for going is, dude, I want to go to Loch Ness and I want to find the Boleskine house from that Aleister Crowley lived in and Jimmy Page lived in,
Dude, sick.
I want to find this shit, and this is before, there's no internet, no nothing,
Yeah. I
rented a car, drove around Loch Ness for hours, just driving around the how big it is, and asking anybody that I could find, which was hardly anybody because it's just desolate.
Yeah.
Where is this house? Everybody would give me a strange look, like, you don't want to go there. You can't tell, they wouldn't want to tell me how to get there.
Really?
I'm like, fuck, man, I'm not leaving until I find this fucking house,
I'm determined. I ain't leaving without it.
I'm here. You know what I mean? It's got to be here. You know what I mean? I'll spend all day here.
Yeah,
and finally, I came across one guy. He was actually running like he had this two-man submarine, right? That he would put down into Loch Ness, and you could rent it and go in with him into Loch Ness. And I'm like, dude, I'll do this right now. Can I get in this summer? He's like, well, we're not starting until next week. I'm like, fuck,
come on. Here's an extra few $100 or something.
he was just getting it ready. But in any case, I asked him, I'm like, dude, can you tell me where this house? He said, oh yeah, sure. Just keep following this road. It's right up on the left-hand side. You'll see it. He's like, just, there's no trespassing signs and everything. And I'm like, okay, cool. I parked the car. I walked it, and there it was, dude. I found the house, and I'm like, yeah,
and you're there, and you're like, yes.
Yeah, that kind of
I know
shit.
It's
what it's all
feeling.
about. Yeah, what it's all about, man. And I'm like, shit, dude. Jimmy Page lived here. Aleister Crowley lived here. So I was like, kind of walked up to the house and kind of took a look around, like, and this one guy, he was working on his car, like in the driveway, and he lit me up. Boy, he did not want me to be there at all.
Really?
He's thick Scottish accent, yelling at me, and I'm like, I probably scared him, because there's nobody out there.
Right.
But I got the shot.
There you go. You got the shot. Bro, sometimes you got to go through it in order to get the shot. I understand.
And it's funny,
that.
like all these years later, I'm like, I know I got pictures, so I was going through old film and I'm like, oh, there it is. So I did like a kind of a mash with the Boleskine house and
Yeah.
that creepy old cemetery, like right across the street on Loch Ness, with the skull and crossbone tombstones and shit,
So crazy.
That kind of
there's
stuff.
spots I would love to hit in Europe, dude. It'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I want to
many
do.
places.
I mean, it might seem like a little bit hacky, but I definitely want to do some historic shit, dude. When Steve Mona, one of my favorite people on the planet.
Yeah, he's
several months ago, he went to fucking Normandy, dude.
I saw that.
Bro, I got chills looking at those pictures, man. Like, that's a bucket list spot that I need to go to. Like, I need to go to Omaha Beach. You know what I mean? Like, I need to see that shit. That. Even like I want to get Chuck Norris and fucking Bruce Lee fighting by the Coliseum, dude.
Oh, hell yeah.
I need to get that. Yeah. It's like that's like a bucket list thing that I need to do. And Europe is insane, you know what I mean? Even like Andrew Katz, he's in Europe and what does he do? He hits European vacation spots. I'm like, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, right. Seriously.
So
it's great.
So,
that's the thing is, there's just, dude, it's endless. It's such a
endless
hobby because it never ends. There's everywhere you turn, you can find something, Yeah.
And like we were saying before, I'm super spoiled because it's endless where I am right now.
Yeah. I'm jealous.
That's just here.
All the stuff you hit. It's amazing. It's like you're hitting so many things every day. I'm like, fuck, man, I got to get out there. I gotta get
dude, there'll be spots that like I'll find something. I'm like, all right, it's 3 avenues and 7 blocks away from my job. I'm like, all right, my boss is cool. I'm like, listen, I usually take lunch if it's not so busy from 12 to 1. I'll be like, listen, at like 20 to 12, I got to run and go hit a spot real quick. Do you mind? Nah, go ahead and go do your thing. Lunch break. I'm in my work uniform, looking at taking pictures of like, a side of a building somewhere. And then I go back to work. So it's constant. And it's like another reason why, like, I wanted to do this podcast. And there was talk, obviously between me and Danny and several other people before this happened. Yes, of course, the Delta Bravo people will be the first people to watch it and this and that because they know of it and all that. And they kind of know us either personally or through the group. But I wanted to also people to get it out there a little bit more because there could be people out there kind of like how I was when I was younger, that they're interested in this stuff, but they don't know a place to put it, or they don't understand, or they don't know where to go or how to, navigate something that they're just ignorant of at the time until, wow, all right, well, here's this podcast and these guys are talking about getting out there and doing it. Oh shit, I've always wanted to do that. And then go out and just have those experiences themselves. You know what I mean? Not for any other reason. Go out. It's like one thing that burns my ass is when I hear somebody say, I'm bored.
No reason
what?
To be bored. Yeah, right.
What? Yeah. I have no concept of what that even means.
Yeah. Get outside.
There needs to be more hours in the day. I need to live longer because I'm not going to stop doing this on my own. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
As long as I can go out there, by any means of transportation, I'm going to go out and hit a spot or just go see something. It's not just hitting the spot either. It's so much is behind the scenes and the experience of getting there and doing the research and then actually putting yourself back when you were a kid, maybe watching this movie when you were a kid. It puts you right back in that mindset and you're standing on a street and you're looking at a house and you're like on the set of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just like, how the fuck, this is an incredible feeling. And it's just an awesome thing.
And it's all, for the most part, it's all free. You just, besides the gas or whatever they need to try, just go out and do it, That's the best.
But a lot of people don't even realize, especially if you're in a city, you don't even realize what could have possibly happened or was filmed or a historical event or a historical person or whatever happened less than a quarter of a mile away from where you're sitting.
Yep.
I guarantee there's something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Guaranteed.
For sure.
You
It's
know?
great. You know, it's great. That's why, like I said, anytime I'm traveling, I'm looking for spots, no matter where it is. There's always something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the fun of it. You know, that's the fun of it all.
Yeah, I'm not fucking stopping. I have nothing, but I find more and more. I can't keep up. I hit spots, but as I'm hitting these spots, I have double the amount of things that I want to hit coming in than I can hit.
I know. There's just not enough hours in the day, man.
There's not.
You know, there's just not. You know, and it's
I have a full-time job and a daughter and responsibility and other things and issues at my job that I'm on call for. I do double shifts and this and that. Plans get put on hold because I have work. But every chance I get,
yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. Yeah.
Even if I'm racing the sun, like I did that like 3 weeks ago or something like that. I actually looked at what time the sun set in New York. I had a haircut at like 6 o'clock, and the sun set at the time. It was like 6:45 or something like that, and it was one of the State of Grace spots. And I was like, all right, if I get my hair cut and I get out of here real fast and I haul ass, it was like 7 blocks away, and I haul ass and I find it really easy, so I need to get prepared. All right, I have it in my phone, and I get there, and there's not too many people in my way. I can get the shot, and I got the shot. But I'm hauling ass, racing the sunset to get the shot.
Yeah, man. Hey, you got the shot.
But I got the shot.
That's the thing. Is another thing. That should be like a sticker or something. I got the shot. You know,
got the shot.
Yeah,
of course.
Because I mean, that's what it. You know, that's what you're doing. You know, you got to get it. You know, you're there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
so now I want to change direction real quick. When did you and what inspired you, or what landed you into opening up a record store, dude?
That's funny. I mean, when I went to college, and I was a criminal justice major and a business major, and I worked at a record store while I was going to college, and upon graduating college, I quickly realized, I'm like, you know what? I think I would rather try and keep in a record store, you know, and see if I could do what I'm doing. I mean, I'm working at one now, and I saw how it was run. I just felt like I could try it and do it, you know. And another buddy of mine from high school, we kind of had the same vision. We're like, yeah, why don't we try and open up a shop, you know, and we'll do it.
Yeah.
We knew of a spot up in Stroudsburg, which is, I live in the Lehigh Valley, so it's like 30 minutes north. And there was no record stores, and it was a college town, and it was just a cool little town. Just took a shot, man. We're like, yeah, let's do it. We came up with a business plan and opened a shop. You know, I used, you know, a small loan and my collection of stuff, and he did the same thing, you know, and that's it, man. 94, I opened the doors, and I haven't looked back, you know. That's it, you know. I've been doing it ever since, you know.
Sick.
And it's like, you know, I tell people all the time, it's like, you know, dude, it's like, if you love what you do, it's not work, you know.
Right.
And it's like, I love what I do. I love being around music all day. I love talking to people all day. I love the atmosphere. I love Main Street, you know. I pop culture, everything about it. I'm a toy collector. I'm a record collector.
Same here.
I'm nuts. Same, you know, I got lots of sicknesses, dude. But you know, I don't drink. I don't do drugs.
Me neither. Not anymore. Not for over 8 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, me too. I just probably like 10, 8 to 10 years. I haven't done anything like that, and things change, you know. But I mean, I still love going to work every day. I still, you know, I can still make a living doing it.
That's great.
I'm happy, you know.
Yeah,
and you know, I don't, you know, you'll have to drop by sometime because you're not that far.
100%. I definitely have to.
Stroudsburg's a pretty cool town, and you know, it's a tourist area for sure. A lot of people from the city come into the Poconos and just to get away. And yeah, it's good, man. It's good. You know, we'll have to make, like, when you come, we'll have to make a little mission, man. There's
100%.
You're
It's
familiar
your
with?
neck of the woods. Let's put together a little mission. Dude, I'm so down.
There's a place I wanted to get the shot for a while. I just haven't been able to get there and do it. You're familiar with Frazetta, right? Frank Frazetta. You know who Frank Frazetta is? Artist. He did like, tons of he did like the Molly Hatchet album cover. He's done
Okay.
The Death Dealer and all that.
Yeah.
He's from Stroudsburg.
Okay.
Stroudsburg. And he has a family museum up there, which is where he lived in East Stroudsburg.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's pretty famous artist.
Yeah.
You look up his name, the paintings, you'll be like, oh, okay.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And matter of fact, like Kirk Hammett from Metallica bought one of his paintings right after he died a couple years ago for $1 million. Came into Stroudsburg. He actually came into Stroudsburg to pick it up, at Frazetta's place. And anyway, there's a spot at his museum where George Lucas and him were standing in front of this lake where they're on the property. Just be a good thing to hit, I think.
Yeah, go get that shit.
Shot,
There's a spot that I found. It's in Scranton. How far is Scranton from you?
Well, maybe about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, 30, 35.
It's a super, super deep cut, man. But you might be being in the record store business and the record music business. You'll probably know exactly what I'm talking about. I would be surprised if you didn't. I don't know why I was on this weird journey of looking for something, and I wound up in another place. And the main reason why I want to do it is because it brings me back to, once again, as a little kid, maybe 5, 6 years old, and my father, well, not everybody, but I'm sure you know who Harry Chapin is, right? Cats in the Cradle is his biggest song, whatever.
Sure.
But my father used to have a huge record collection when I was younger, huge vinyl collection. And so I grew up with all kinds of music all the time in the house. And I guess because I was a little kid, he would think I would get a kick out of it. And he played the song 30,000 Pounds of Bananas.
Okay. All right.
And it's a silly name to a song. And I guess to a kid, which was true. It made me laugh. I still remember it. So it stuck. And that song is based on a true story of a tractor trailer that was going down Main Street, and I had the address and everything, that leads into Scranton, and he loses control and he crashes, and another guy got killed in a car, and what was in the truck was 30,000 pounds of bananas.
Wow. All right.
So, but I found archived photos of that actual crash site that inspired the song 30,000 Pounds of Bananas by Harry Chapin. I found the exact intersection and everything. I screenshotted Google Maps. I'm going up and down Google Street View trying to find, and it's miraculously like 3 of the houses are exactly the same. And this shit happened in like the early 60s.
Yeah.
The accident happened.
We make that happen, man. We'll hit that.
I want to go to Scranton. It's some weird little intersection of like probably a little house.
There's a few things you can hit. A lot of office stuff in Scranton too.
That too. Yeah, I'll hit a Dunder Mifflin spot. Why not?
Right.
I
there's
don't
a lot
care.
of that kind of stuff there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make something.
I
like
have that
happen.
queued up in my phone. Like there's a spot in Scranton I want to hit.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, different shit.
So, man, for sure.
So I was thinking 1994 you opened up. I was trying to think off the top of my head what records were out in 94. A couple right off the top of my head. Wu-Tang 36 Chambers came out in 94. Life of Agony River Runs Red came out in 94. Wasn't House of Pain Same As It Ever Was also 94?
Yeah. 94 is big year. Big year for music. A lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. Biohazard. What record was that? Ooh, it wasn't Urban Discipline. That was 92.
It was
like with the weird. No, State of the World Address.
Yeah.
State of the World Address. Jesus.
Those guys I heard are getting back, by the way.
With Evan.
Original lineup. I heard getting back.
No way.
Yeah. That's I'm telling you, Bobby, everybody, they're all
Bobby, Billy, Evan, and fucking Danny.
Yeah, I hear they're coming back.
You should take it back real far and get Anthony Mio on drums, who was on the demos.
You're going way back.
Way back. I had those demos.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. I knew Anthony Mio way back in the day, right after they booted him out of Biohazard. Like he was around, like yeah, he used to come over and shit. He was a fucking psycho. Yeah, Anthony Mio. I got stories. But yeah, man, yeah. So that's a good year, like Life of Agony. Like I had a bunch of them on the other show. Yeah. I had Danny on, Biohazard. I had Billy on.
You had Wisdom guys on too, right? You had Richie.
Yeah, I had Luke. Me and Luca sitting at a diner having like burgers and shit and French fries is bullshit. That was before Zoom. That was before COVID, because Zoom came in right when COVID hit. And the first one that I ever did with on Zoom was Billy Biohazard. Okay. He actually hit me up. He's like, "Yo, let's do like some sort of a video thing." And I was always so stuck on, I'm not doing video. I just want to do face-to-face, in-person audio. Nothing over the phone, nothing. But then I'm like, yo, this is awesome. I could fucking have a conversation with somebody from, it was homeboy from Knuckle Dust. It was the second guy. They're in Europe. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right. So next thing you know, I have Ted Parsons from Prong. Dude is in like Norway or something like that. It's technology, like 2 o'clock.
Man. Amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. So I'm like, how am I talking with Ted Parsons from Prong right now? You know what I mean? Like, it's just super cool. So yeah. So that's when I was like, you know what? I'm in my fucking pajamas. I'm not running around hoping that the place is gonna be quiet to accommodate me and my show.
Right.
You're right in my fucking bedroom, dude. That's it.
Beautiful.
Fuck it. Yeah, it's just super easy. I did enough friggin' work and running around for that show anyway,
Yeah.
I would leave work and run and jump on a train and come home and jump in my car and go somewhere. It was hectic, dude. But I loved it, so I'm not complaining about it at all because I did it for 6 years.
How many episodes did you do with that?
I want to say close to 400.
Wow.
And that's amazing. Not including bonus ones. That was like numbered.
Awesome.
That was numbered episodes. And then there would be like, I'd go to a horror convention or I'd be at a gig somewhere. I'd be at a show. And like they would vary from anywhere from like 5 minutes to like 45 minutes would be anything less than an hour would automatically be a bonus. There was probably about almost 40 of those.
Wow.
Plus almost 400 regular episodes.
That's great, man. What a great archive of stuff.
It's all still up. It's all still, the Instagram I don't have control over. I took down the Facebook, but if you go onto iTunes and from YouTube on YouTube, it's there. But from Billy on, and it's nothing fancy. It's split screen. But I had there's a lot of people on there that I never thought I would ever speak to, and that I became legit friends with, that I've hung out with afterwards, and. All the Sick of It All guys. And I'm at the studio when they put out their last record. I'm at their studio. I did backup vocals on the last record, and I did a whole episode with every one of them, plus Jerry Farley, the producer, and all at the studio.
You were obviously into the whole hardcore scene.
Oh, dude, yeah, big time.
That was where you grew up, and
Oh, yeah. Well, I grew up like. Listen, from a little kid, like I said before, my father had a huge record collection, and there was a lot of the classic rock stuff. I mean, everything from like Led Zeppelin to Joe Cocker to even like Neil Diamond and a lot of Queen, a lot of that kind of stuff. Bob Seger.
Now, you grew up in Brooklyn? Is that where you grew up?
Yeah, born and raised.
Okay.
Yeah, in Canarsie. I went to high school with like Gore-Tex and Ill Bill and all those dudes.
Oh yeah.
That's
cool.
And then from there it's like then like the 80s happened, and I have an older sister. She's 6 years older, so that was like the whole explosion of all the Sunset Strip hair metal, glam metal bands and all that stuff. So she's listening to all that stuff. So there's Bon Jovi and all that stuff. And I had a babysitter. If anyone had ever listened to the Blast Furnace, this story, but I never told this on this podcast, so it's all right. I haven't told it in a while. I had a baby. I was like 9 or 10 years old. I lived in Rockaway with my real father when my parents first got divorced. So it was just me and him. And he used to pay this girl like maybe like $10 a day. Her name was Denise. And she would like, I guess, watch over me, but she'd be smoking pot and shit. Like she wasn't watching me for nothing. I guess she was my babysitter, whatever. But I'll never forget it because she legitimately put me on the path of my music preference. Because it's funny because I just read a post of yours right before we started recording. I'll say, she showed me. It was on record. It was brand new, maybe a year or two old at the most, and it was Motley Crue "Shout at the Devil," the record, with the whole fold out, the whole gatefold. And it was that and Twisted Sister "Stay Hungry." Those two records right there changed me. And as a 9-year-old kid, and you're looking at the pentagrams and the fire, and that's my generation's Kiss.
Right, man.
You know what I mean? Like, holy shit, these guys are crazy, you know? As a 9-year-old in the 80s, there's no internet. And so you're just like, what the fuck? Like album artwork and lyric, liner notes. And I grew up with all that shit.
The visual, all about that visual.
Loved it, bro. Loved all of it. I'd buy so many records that sucked only based on album art.
Exactly.
Saving my allowance for this record, it sucks because they would dupe you. For fans of Sepultura and blah, 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 listen to this and you put it, it's just garbage. It's like, come on. They're terrible. Duped because of good album art.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I got into, my sister's listening to all that other stuff. And listen, I don't care. I'll admit, like some of that friggin' hair metal stuff like that, some of that shit I still like, man. I'll listen to Motley Crue "Shout at the Devil" all day long. You put on Red Hot and I'm tapping my fucking toe, bro. I don't
Definitely.
Definitely. Yeah.
I was all about it, brother.
Yeah. And then I found reading lyrics and stuff like that and liners and special thank you to this person. And then you see, all right, then I find Metallica "Ride the Lightning" was the first one that I listened to. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Fight fire with fire. And it's just so crazy. That's probably my favorite Metallica song. Probably gun to my head is probably "Fight Fire with Fire." Maybe, probably. But that record is my favorite. But from that to the Testament to then I found Violence, and then there was the VHS tape, and it was really cool because I did a whole series with all the guys from Violence. I had Phil Demmel on, I had Sean Killian, and I was fanboying out in my head, bro. And this was only a few years ago when I hit up Sean Killian on Facebook. I messaged him. I'm like, yo, man, would you mind? He's like, sure. I'm just like, yo, I don't even know what the fuck I'm going to talk to this guy about. I'm like, I picture myself. I'm like, yo, they're such a slept on Bay Area thrash band. One of my favorites. And he's just like, I'm like, thanks. So he's like, why are you thanking me? He's like, I should be thanking you, like, to help promote my band. I'm just like, what's happening in my head? You know what I mean? And
so cool.
Just shit like that. I found Violent. There was and I had it. I made sure I rebought it on like eBay. And there's a VHS tape. It's called the Hard and Heavy Thrash and Speed Metal Special.
I remember those Hard and Heavy tapes.
And Violence was on it, and Calling in the Coroner was the song, and that was my introduction to Violence and all that stuff. And then I think I was watching like Headbangers Ball because I grew up on Headbangers Ball.
Me too, man.
I had Ricky Rackman on the Brooklyn Blast Furnace. It was the weirdest shit. And then I have a whole other episode that never seen the light of day with Ricky Rackman too.
I heard you talking about that.
You want me to put it out? I still have it. I won't delete it, but I won't put it up either. I don't know. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. But then I'm watching Headbangers Ball, and at the time they had the Triple Thrash Threat. And it was like the 3 heavy songs because it was, Trickster and fucking Winger and Slaughter. And then later on, like the third hour, it would be like, they'll play like Agnostic Front Anthem. And then like I saw Sick of It All and Justice System. And I'm like, okay. And then I went to L'Amour's. That's when I started listening to that stuff. And I found Suicidal Tendencies. So I'd go to L'Amour's, and the lineup was, legendary. My first ever show was there. It was Anthrax, Satan, but they were under an alias, Satan's Lounge Band.
Oh, nice.
Stadium Euphoria tour. Crazy. That was my friend. He was like, I know that's them. I know it because you should know, well, you might know this. on the European import of the I Am the Law 12-inch single. On the opposite side, there's 2 songs, is Buddy Love Bomb and Satan's Lounge Band. And you used to call up L'Amour's, and he would give you a recording of who was playing. And Friday, December, blah, 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 is Satan's Lounge Band. I'm like, that's fucking Anthrax, and I need to go. And it was. It was so good. So yeah, and then I went, it was Anthrax, and then I went to a show, and the lineup was White Zombie, way before Los Exorcisto, but they were doing Los Exorcisto stuff. That actual set is on YouTube. It was White Zombie, Leeway, Suicidal Tendencies on the Lights Camera Revolution tour. White Zombie, I really wasn't familiar with at the time because they weren't big. They were just on every other show. It was like, okay, whatever. They all looked like they were homeless people. They were just like, bums and whatever. Leeway came on. I had heard of them. I had seen their flyer, but I never actually heard them. Here comes Eddie. And it just, all of that stuff resonated with me because they looked like regular people. There was no gimmicks. There was no hair. There was no spikes. There was no change.
He just came out and played.
Here's Eddie Leeway. He weighs 72 pounds, and he has a Yankee hat on. And there's, all right, Pokey is there. He has long hair. But then there's AJ right there. And he has jean shorts. It's 1990. Jean shorts, pair of Reeboks, a hat, no gimmicks. And they came out and blew the fucking place apart. And right there, I was like, what do we have here? And I went right to a local record store. It was called Ciro's CD Cellar. And I went there. I used to go there all the time. He used to rip me off, though, that fucker. And he did, because he saw I was a mark. He saw it, and he was taking advantage of a fucking 15-year-old. That bastard, right? Still charged me $60 for an Anthrax Fistful of Metal picture disc.
Oh yeah,
1990. That fuck, right? Still kicking me his ass for that. But so I went there. I went to the store and I bought Leeway, Born to Expire, Agnostic Front, Liberty and Justice 4. Put those on because it was still, I was very a metalhead into the thrash stuff. Those were 2 perfect crossover records. And then from there, I went to Sick of It All. I think it was the Blood, Sweat, and No Tears. And then I went in reverse, and I found Agnostic, and I went in reverse with Agnostic Front. I went back to United Blood and Victim in Pain and all that stuff. And then it just spiraled, and then Cro-Mags and this and that. And then all the way, fast forward all the way up to one of the greatest, I'm going to say it, and I've told them too. Their heads are going to get a little bit bigger if they listen to this. I told all the guys from Wisdom and Change, because I had Mad Joe on, I had Richie Crutch on a couple of times, Luke. I told them, like, that is one band from their start to their latest stuff. Like, there's something about those guys. They could write a fucking song, dude.
Oh, dude, they kill it. They kill it.
And their shit.
Dude, they've always been that way, bro.
Yeah.
From the time they were doing, like, those guys grew up in Stroudsburg, obviously. So,
yeah.
I've known those guys since they were kids, and they were coming in. Dude, and they were always, Richie was, he was the hustler, man. He was always in a band.
Yeah.
Always, plugging his stuff.
Crutch and box cutter and yeah.
But he was the man, and like he still doing it. Those guys kill it.
Yeah.
Their songs are just like anthems.
Anthems, there's sing along. Some of them are like the song like Liar. It's like 42 seconds long and it's just ignorant. But then there's like these fucking sing along anthems and fighting in the streets and like all this stuff. It's just fucking
those guys are
Song to My Killer. Like it's like all these they know how to write a song, dude. Catchy shit, but it's still hard. That's a very unique band.
Yeah.
Nobody sounds like them, and they haven't had a stinker yet. Like their records, like everything, there's gems everywhere.
Yep. Good dudes, man. Good dudes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
get their blend at deadsledcoffee.com.
And it's good.
It's good. It's fucking legit. It really is. Yeah, man. So that's how I got into all that kind of stuff. And then, there's certain things that are soundtracks to me from especially 94. That's what got us on this whole topic was, like, I mean, dude, like that angry late teen years and growing up in Brooklyn, and I'm getting high and I'm drinking and I'm running around with knuckleheads and I'm going to hardcore shows and everybody's a tough guy badass, you know. But you know, it's like shit like, you know, River Runs Red was like a soundtrack, dude.
Oh yeah, that definitely was a soundtrack.
And even it started from the first well, they have several demos that some people don't even know about, like Death on the BMT and stuff. But then there's the first one, the Step Aside demo, which is a full-length record.
Yeah.
The full-length record. That's like one of the first fucking, there's like mosh parts on there. It's crazy. There's that, but then they came out with the Stain Remains demo.
Yeah, I remember that.
With Here I Am, Here I Stay, Respect, The Stain Remains, and Depression. And like that song, Here I Am, Here I Stay, and it was very, a lot of people would say if there was no Biohazard, Sheer Terror, and Typo Negative, there would be no Life of Agony, which I kind of get, but they did it their own way. And they also give props. They're like, no, absolutely. Like, we grew up listening to that stuff, and those were friends, so that's what you're around. So if it came off like that, it wasn't really intentional, which I understand.
Yeah.
So, but that Stain Remains demo into the River Runs Red record are like staples to my youth, I guess, to not to sound corny, but it's the truth. The first Biohazard record into Urban Discipline, and then we start getting into like fucking House of Pain and the first Cypress Hill, and you know, all that stuff was that whole time frame was just that whole thing, man. It was
a good time in music. For sure.
Amazing, dude. And like Wu-Tang came, like Wu-Tang. It's like, why are there 9 black dudes from Staten Island talking about ninja shit? This is absolutely incredible. And it's just like, and still to this day, like, you know, I met Method Man not that long ago on Staten Island. He works out at a place on Staten Island, I won't say, but he was a super fucking cool guy. I gave him a Mission Statements t-shirt.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that, man. I love when I hear like guys meet other like guys like in bands, and they always, you know, I love hearing if they're cool, down to earth dudes, you know.
Right.
And like I'm glad to hear that, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the way it's got to be.
Yeah,
You know?
there's off the top of my head, I think I've kind of gotten pretty lucky as far as like people that I've met that, you know, they always say, oh, don't meet your heroes, you know. The only person off the top of my head that, and I've said it on the Blast Furnace podcast, it's not even a musician that I was disappointed with. I'm like, oh man, was Linda Blair.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, dude. And everyone who has met her was like, oh yeah, Linda Blair. Yeah, Reagan from the fucking Exorcist. You know how many times I tried to give her my money for an autograph and a picture because she's iconic, because she's a horror movie?
Yeah.
I tried like 3 different times. I won't give her $5 on principle. Which is sad because I want to give you my money.
I kind of figure. I mean, that's
but I can't because you're that much of an asshole. I can't do it. Sorry.
Just what, bitchy? Just did
just even my daughter wanted to meet her. And then even my daughter was like, ew, Dad. I'm like, I told you. I'm like, I'm on this line because I know that you want to meet her and I have no problem with it. I know you want to meet her. No problem. But then she saw it and she was like, you know what, Dad? I think I'm good. I'm like,
yeah, right.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some people are just, you know, just
it's like, well, you have a line wrapped around the whole hotel. You got flown in from here. You don't pay for anything. You're not cheap. You're charging like $100 for a fucking selfie at a fucking 8x10.
It's like,
and you're just like this. Gracious. You're just like, just sucking your teeth and rolling your eyes, and
that sucks. Yeah,
it's just like sucks. It's like, yo, aren't you supposed to be an actress? Like, at least pretend like you want to be here.
Right.
Maybe just for a minute.
You're making some good money by being there.
You're making tens of thousands of dollars a day, and you're here for 3 days. You're going back to California with $80,000 easy.
Yeah. Be a little
happy.
Right. Exactly.
Be an actress. Do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the only, like, other than that, like, I think every other like person and people in bands and shit like that, you know, everyone has been cool. You know, I've spoken to some oddball people that I never thought that I would even be able to have a conversation with, especially on the Blast Furnace one. It's like I'm having a conversation with the guy who directed and was the director of photography on the first Saw movie. I'm like,
oh, cool. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, it's just freaking cool, you know?
I mean, it's funny because I meet a lot. Like we have a venue that's right down the street from my shop. So
what venue?
it's called the Sherman Theater. So it's
I
like
think I was there. Me and my girl, but that might have been also maybe the time I was there. I saw wasn't really my kind of deal. I think she wanted to go. It was it In This Moment maybe?
Oh yeah, they play there quite a bit In This Moment. Yeah.
There was a weird band, dude. A band called Avatar.
Oh yeah. They're crazy. Yeah,
I'm like, what's happening right now? You know,
but
what's going on?
it's a pretty good venue, you know. So national bands come through there all the time. So you know, a lot of them always find their way up to the shop. So I get lucky. I meet a lot of cool people. You know, it's nice. You know,
dude, you put up some pictures, man. I'm like, this motherfucker just took a picture with Dave Lombardo. Like this,
dude. Yeah, I can't even believe he walked through. I'm like, motherfucker, like this guy, like he was one of my heroes. You know,
how can he not be?
Yeah,
it's like.
I mean, and
that
he was so cool and down to earth and hung out and just, you know, like that's what makes it so cool. You know, it's like when guys are just like down to earth, no trip, just hanging out like they're a buddy of yours. You know what I mean?
An iconic drummer.
I mean, speaking of L'Amour's, dude, I think the first time I ever saw Lombardo was Slayer and Testament. It was Slayer on Rain and Blood tour. Rain and Blood tour with Testament opening up at L'Amour's. Place was fucking off the hook, you know?
Yeah, that's fucking out of control. Because L'Amour's was a sweat box.
Yeah, you couldn't move in the place.
No.
And I just remember being next to Billy Milano the entire night. He was stuck next to me in the crowd.
I did an episode with him. Oh, that was a fucking that was something.
Yeah. He's one of a kind, you know.
Oh, he sure is. It was at St. Vitus a couple of years back. It was the second to last show that I went to right before COVID hit, because they did an MOD set, but it was a split MOD SOD set.
I remember this. I remember that. Yeah.
And I asked that. I think it was like the drummer or something actually hit me up and was like, yo, would you mind doing an episode with the guys from... I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, right.
You know, so there's me and Billy, and I'm literally sitting on the edge of the stage. There's no one in the venue yet, and I'm sitting on the edge of the stage, and there's Billy Milano, and he said some stuff, boy, and it was just like and I don't get uncomfortable, but there's certain things I'm like, dude,
he's kind of an intimidating guy too, you know.
He is, but there's a certain part of him that I felt that was kind of serious, tongue in cheek, and a lot of it's gimmick.
Yeah.
A lot of it's gimmick.
Sure.
But yeah, that was I forgot about that. Yeah, that was something for sure. Oh my God. Yeah, that was all coming back. Yeah, so there was a lot of people that I was very fortunate that I actually, you know, spoke to and met with, and, you know, have phone numbers and stuff. I'm like, how do I have so-and-so's phone number? Like, that's just so weird. Like, why?
Yeah, right.
Why it's like, why can't
when you were, you know, 19, 17 years old, that you would have these phone numbers, right?
Yeah, even somebody like as like a little kid, like right now, like why am I able to call up Vinny Stigma? Like, why? Like, I shouldn't be. Yeah, I shouldn't be able to do that, but I can. And he has the same phone number for like 30 years.
That's great.
It's like there's certain things like that. Like, why am I sitting in Vinny Stigma's apartment on Mott Street with Mike Gallo talking about Murder Incorporated mafia stuff that used to happen down the block from him? You know, thanks to Danny Boy.
Right? Did you go to his apartment or something and film there on Blast Furnace?
Yeah.
Twice. I remember that episode. I remember why I watched that.
Yeah, there's that, and it's like thanks to Danny Boy. Like, another thing, you mentioned the Warriors. Why am I in Apache Ramos's living room? The war chief of the orphans. Why am I in his living room right now watching a Yankee game and his daughter is serving me food like lunch? Why is this happening?
Yeah, man.
You know, that's the dude from the fucking orphans. We're gonna rain on you, Warriors. Like, why am I in his house? And why are you so cool? And why is your daughter making us food?
He seems like a really cool guy.
Super cool.
Him on Facebook and that, he just seems so,
Yeah, so there's certain things that, because I do the silly show, whatever. But other things are behind the scenes that things happen. Just like hitting spots, dude. It's like there's certain experiences that I can't tell in a MASH that I'll never forget. The feeling I got when I'm standing in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre house.
I mean, yeah.
Why am I looking up these stairs? Like, why? I don't know if you heard that story, but I'll make it real quick. The first time I ever entered that house was in a weird way. It was an extension that they make because the place is a restaurant now. It was a bar area. And I walked in, they were closed, and there was people outside on the back deck. And I was doing my shots outside, and I heard people talking. I knew the place was closed. Long story short, I told these guys what I was doing. They worked there. Next thing you know, I'm inside the bar area, which is not part of the house. The owner, which is a couple, came in, and I was talking to them. They're like, yeah, dude, like, sure. Like, we'll look around. So I walk in through the bar area into kind of like the back of the house, and I walk down this hallway. I turn, and I look, and I got chills. And I look at the owner, and I'm like, am I standing where I think I'm fucking standing, dude? And he looked at me and he started laughing. He was like, yeah, man. Texan dude. Like, yeah, man. And where I was standing, the first time I ever entered the actual house, I was standing exactly where Leatherface was standing the first time you see him, when he raises his hammer and he smashes Kirk in the head. And then he slams the door.
And there you are in that spot.
That's the first time I was ever even in the house, was standing in that spot.
Now, did you stay there? Or is there like a place you can stay in the back there or something?
No, but at the gas station there is.
Oh, the gas station, right? Okay.
The original gas station from the movie, which is another thing that kind of like what Danny Boy did.
Yeah.
You see an opportunity and a place you want to preserve, a place of pop culture history.
And that's what they did.
Someone bought the gas station. And the same guy who owns the gas station actually owns the original screen door from the original house that was made.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre freak, which I completely understand and I completely get and respect that guy.
Cool. So cool.
And they have little mini conventions there. Bro, and there in the back, they put up 4 or 5 little cabins. They're super air conditioned because you're in Texas. There's flat screen TVs. You go into the gas station, they give you DVDs to watch there. Of course, you have to watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Just like I watch The Outsiders and The Greaser Hideout. You have to do that.
Nice.
And when in Rome, and I walked out the next morning, I opened up my cabin door and I'm like, Leatherface chased Sally right down here.
Right.
This is the fucking gas. Like, how am I waking up here? And it's cheap and it's like, I'm in Bastrop, Texas, at the gas station, and it's called the We Slaughter gas station. Yeah. And what's really ironic is legit right across the street, there's a huge cattle yard. It's fucking amazing. And I got a friggin' brisket sandwich from the slaughter from the gas station.
Yes.
And you have to do those things, and that was the first. Yeah. When we flew
I'm glad people do that kind of stuff and preserve that stuff like that. Like the Christmas Story house, that guy did that whole thing. And, that's great stuff, man. People got to do that stuff and keep it going.
You got to preserve that kind of shit, man.
Especially for guys like us.
100%. Without a doubt. Like, I don't think I'm going to go back. Maybe one day I will definitely go back down there. But
you did it.
I did it. And I'm not going to say I won't never go back down there. I very well might. Texas, I enjoyed the shit out of Texas. There's a lot more stuff I still want to see in Texas.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. I had to pick and choose so many things to pass by, like, time.
That's the hard part, right? Sure.
So many.
You don't have so much time while you're there, so you have to pick
Austin,
and choose.
it's just in Austin itself. Like, I went down a rabbit hole. I'm like, I had no idea this was there. This was there. This. I'm like, all right. It's like the first one that I originally had on my road trip list wound up being like 6th because I found closer things to where we were, and it was incredible, dude.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, man. So like preserving these places and for us and just for pop culture reasons. And like you said before, everything changes. Things get bulldozed, and like buildings with beautiful architecture and stuff like that here in the city are just getting like, unless they're landmarked, are getting bulldozed over, and it's the same bullshit generic big glass building. It's like,
man, it sucks. It's like the city kind of like it kind of lost some of its soul, man.
It
Like
lost a lot of its soul. The sun. If you look at the skyline closely now, there's weird buildings that are up, and it's just like, where did
even just with I used to love going into just go to the small like mom and pop shops and like all kinds of stuff like that. Like we used to go to all kinds of record shopping in the city. I don't think there's anything left,
No.
and that stuff, they raise those rents so high, you can't be a mom and pop shop in
Right.
New York City,
It's very far and few between. Very far and few between.
It makes me sad to see that stuff, and like I used to love, like when I was younger and you go into the city, it's like kind of dangerous, man.
Of
Know what I mean? Like,
course.
you had that, you're going down 42nd Street and like you had to fucking watch your back,
Shit show.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, like I said before, it's Disneyland, it's like it's totally it's hard to explain to young people what that shit was like,
Yeah.
But to me, it lost a lot of its appeal when it,
100%.
changed into that kind of stuff.
100%. It's like, it's like, oh, this was like it's like now it's like the Ravenite Social Club, John Gotti's friggin' spot. It's like a high-end bougie like clothing store now, where you can buy like $600 friggin' jeans that it's like, who wears that?
Right.
Even
CB's. I mean, CB's is what? John Barbados now.
Yes.
Like, we walked into there, they had like, a stereo system, like a Macintosh stereo system in there for sale. It's like, it's like 10 grand. I'm like, I mean, and that might be on the low end, I'm like, who the fuck is buying this shit?
Yeah. I went in there not that long ago, because when they first opened, I walked in there and I got like a little angry. Not at anybody there, just within myself. Because I walked in there, I'm like, this place is disgusting. Like, oh, you kept like a little 5-foot piece of the wall with the flyers and stuff. Boy, but it's encased in like glass. It's like, come on, dude. And then I pulled it. This is when we had flip phones still. And I went to pull my phone out, and they were like, no pictures, no pictures.
Really?
I'm like, that's when they first opened. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I walked out of there. I'm like, this place, I can't be in here right now. I had some of the greatest shows, some of the best things in there, and I walked out disgusted. And not that long ago, a few months ago, I went in there maybe like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. And I went in there a couple of months ago for the first time since.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to go in there and I want to hit the cover of Agnostic Front United Blood.
Yeah.
So I went in there. I made sure, in case there was still no photos, which now they let you take pictures now. But I made sure that my volume on my phone was low, so you don't hear my camera clicking. I didn't have a flash on, and I'm just walking, and I'm like, okay, click, click, click. I knew the exact layout where it was, and where the little bird's nest was up top, where people used to. I knew the whole layout, so I'm like, okay. And I'm looking, I'm like, all right, this is exactly what it said. Click, 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 and I got the shot in there. But like places like that, it's like it lost the soul, the grittiness, the dangerous part of old New York. It just sucks.
Because for what that place was, for what it became, you're just like, that just doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like that just doesn't work. Now it's some like high end like clothing that nobody can afford unless you're like mega rich,
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy a $400 belt, dude.
No, I mean, dude, it's insane, Yeah. It's
like, why don't you save that place? Why didn't somebody step up? Like all these people at that time when they were about to close were like, oh, blah, blah, like Sting and even like Van Zant dude from The Sopranos and this person and Blondie. They're all saying like, oh, it's a shame. How about you all like stop having short arms and deep pockets? This place basically is where you all got your start.
Yep.
How about everyone chip in a few bucks?
That should have been a landmark. You know what I mean? Like
that should be a landmark.
Right, definitely. It shouldn't even have been a question.
Right. And save that fucking place.
You know, all the money talks in New York. You know what I mean?
Ah.
Like that's all it is.
It's
you
all
know?
fucking money. It's all a big business, bro.
But it just gets back to like you got to hit these spots before they're gone. You know, that's
Yeah.
it. You know,
And
it's
travel.
gotta-
Just travel. And
Yeah.
like you said before, what does it cost you? Like
Right.
if you're in the city, even if you're in Manhattan, I've done it, I don't know how many times, dozens and dozens, I don't know, literally hundreds of times at this point. Now it's $2.75 for a train ride. You could go everywhere.
Right.
Less
right.
than $3.
Yeah.
And go. Map it out. You have your phone. Everyone has their phone. You
Yep.
can find places. Just
Yep.
go. Make a day.
Spend
Bring
the
your
day.
girl. Bring your kid. Bring your
Right.
fucking mother.
Yeah, right, right.
You know, maybe your mother has a favorite movie, and maybe her favorite movie happens to be West Side Story. Right? That sounds like maybe a mom type favorite movie. Go to fucking 49th and 10th Avenue. That's where they shot the cover of the soundtrack.
Right, right. There you go.
Show her that. Wow, that's
Yeah.
kind of cool. It's a day out with your mom.
Exactly.
Hey, you're welcome, kids. That's why Delta Bravo does it better.
Yeah.
We give recommendations to go out and have an outing with your elderly parents. See? You see? It's all positive here.
Dude, I like I said, man, like I thank you for having me on, and like
Dude,
all
of
these
course,
dudes
man.
are they're so inspiring to me, and like you and everything you do, and I love it. Keep
And
up the good work, bro.
Like
It's awesome.
people would say that to me also, like with the blast furnace. Oh, I love what you do, and not even to try to be like all kinds of modest or anything, because I know it's going to come off that way. But this kind of sounds weird to me. You know what I mean?
No, dude, it's you know you're I mean it's cool.
Because all I do is bullshit. Like me and you were talking, if we weren't even recording.
Right. No.
Me and
right,
you, if I was at Main Street Jukebox, we'd be bullshitting the same way.
Sure.
So it's like it's
And we
cool.
got to make that happen for sure.
It'll definitely happen. It'll
Yeah.
100% happen, dude. And what we'll do, I'll make it a point, and I'll schedule with you because we both have lives and jobs, and obviously, but we'll make it so when I do go there, you'll have some time, and we'll go hit 30,000 pounds of bananas.
We'll get it.
And anything else. You know what I want to know where it is, and this would be up your alley.
Uh-huh.
I want to know. It might not even be there anymore because it's years ago now. Where Wisdom and Chains filmed the Back to the Ocean video.
Was it like an abandoned like factory kind of place?
Yes.
Yeah, that's still there.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know where it is?
I do. Yep.
I want to hit it.
Yeah, we can hit that.
I want to hit that.
I mean, as far as I know, it's still there. I mean, it's been some years since I've been there, but I'm pretty sure it's still there.
All right.
Yeah.
It's probably not that far from you.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I want to hit that. A
No
weird,
doubt.
random, deep cut.
Yeah, I like
Not
that.
everything has to be Beastie Boys, kids.
right.
Which I'm not mad at Beastie Boys at all. Hit them all.
Definitely not.
But
And like,
you know,
we got to get some, get this. We got to get some group meetups or something like that going too.
yeah. On that note, I'm gonna close up. Everybody support Main Street Jukebox. Everybody follow them. Buy shit. You can order shit offline from you, right? You put up shit sold.
Yeah.
Like you'll put. I only have one copy sold. So follow you on Instagram at Main Street MAINST Jukebox on Instagram. Go to the website. And don't buy the same shit that you can buy at Main Street Jukebox on Amazon. Get it from Tom.
Thank you.
Smarten up. For Christ's sake.
I'll get it to you just as fast or faster.
There you go. And the only thing I ask is just follow at Delta Bravo Mission Statements on Instagram. The link in the bio there will bring you to every single thing. Mission Statements, Delta Bravo, and Outsiders House related. Everything. All the groups on Facebook, all the Instagrams, the outsidershouse.com, and it's Delta Bravo Urban Exploration Team.bigcartel.com is where you can buy merch. But Danny puts out all of his limited stuff and everything, like I said before, everything from brass knuckles to House of Pain flasks to shirts and everything.
Buy or cry.
Buy or cry, and things go quick. So
yeah, man.
Things go quick. So so that's all I ask is follow it on Instagram. And Yeah, man, this was fun. But I'm gonna once I press, stop over here, we got to talk about a couple things.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I thank you again, dude. This was fun. Yeah.
Anytime, dude. Anytime. We'll do it
chopping
again.
It up with you, man.
Yeah, and what we'll do is once I go to Main Street Jukebox and we hang out and we go hit some spots, we'll do like a little shorter episode and we'll bullshit about what went on in order to hit these spots. Maybe we'll get a flat tire. Maybe we'll get carjacked. Who knows? But it'll be a story for the podcast.
No doubt. No doubt.
We do things for the shot. Sometimes we got to go and do things for the podcast now.
Definitely.
Absolutely. My man, Tom, thank you, brother.
Thank you. Talk to you, bro.
Absolutely.